Hello there. Welcome to another episode of XRaised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. In this episode, we're all taking a look into the future of the legal profession, a future where sharp minds and smart machines work side by side. And I'll be with someone who knows this better than anyone else and needs no introduction, but I'll give her one anyway. Because why not? It's just too good not to. So she's an award-winning barrister, an influential voice in legal tech innovation, and now the founder and CEO of MiAI Law, an AI-powered platform that's redefining how lawyers research, analyze, and deliver results. She's been recognized as one of the most influential CEOs in legal tech, and her vision is all about building a future where AI supports, not replaces, human judgment. Sharing her insights on what skills the lawyers of tomorrow will need to thrive in an AI-powered profession is none other than Laina Chan. Hi, Laina.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? It's great to have you back.
Yes.
Yes. So, the future lawyer's toolkit, what skills and tools the next gen will need in an AI driven profession. This could be an extension of our previous episode with you and Tim. If you were mentoring a law student today, Lena, what skills would you tell them to focus on beyond traditional legal knowledge?
Critical thinking. It's no different to when I was 14, maybe. I think I was 14 years old, and I had this English teacher. I think I mentioned him before. I was at this international school in Malaysia, and we had this Australian English teacher, and he wasn't very good, but he was the most significant English teacher I had been because he taught in such a different way. So he didn't teach in the way that you would expect an English teacher to teach.
Okay.
He made us like rewrite a whole play. So that there was a play that we did, and then it was maybe X number of characters normally. And he goes, I want you to rewrite the play and just reduce it to two characters. And so we had to do that, which felt very weird as an English lesson, right? And then, but the most important thing he said was that just question everything you read. Don't take anything you read as gospel. You have to question it. And I think that's what every law student has to learn, the ability to question what they read in an AI research report, to check it against the source truth, and to also check it against their own knowledge base. They can't abrogate thinking
Mm-hmm. Right. True.
because at the end of the day, if all you are doing is relying upon AI to do all of your work, then what is your value add? There's no value add at all. Anyone can do this work.
Right. Mm-hmm. And how
You
could we
need
thrive?
to, yes, so you need to set yourself apart by showing that you can bring critical thinking and analysis to the problem, and how you can value add by enhancing any outputs that legal AI tool may have produced. And in order to do that, you have to really, really know the law.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
have to do the hard work. You have to read the cases. You
Mm-hmm.
have to read the cases, and you have to work out for yourself how the reasoning has been done, how the analysis has been done. And then as you read more and more and more cases, then slowly it takes a long time because you have to know so many cases to be able to draw parallels between one area of law with another area of law. And of course, that took me a long time because ages. And I don't know if you can get there as a law student, but you have to do the hard work, and you have to get back to first principles. You can't just rely upon summaries of cases. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have read the cases yourself, and you have to work out for yourself how you work out what the ratio decidendi of the case is, etc. You can check it against AI for sure to see whether you
Mm-hmm.
have extracted the information correctly or understood the case correctly yourself. Because one thing ChatGPT really is very good at is summarizing. It's just excellent at summarizing. So you can use the AI as a cross check, but you can't get away from actually doing the hard work yourself. Because
Right.
if you don't do that, then you don't develop your brain, you don't develop your skills, you don't develop your legal skill set, and you're
Mm-hmm.
really of no use to anybody if all you think is all I need to do is pass this exam and AI can help me do that, because there's a limit to what you can share in your exam paper.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of detail you get out of an AI answer may be enough, if you're using my AI. It may well be enough, but once you get to a job situation, if all you are bringing is the ability to key in an answer into my AI law and then not be able to value add to that output at all, then you're not very useful to anybody.
Yeah, that's so true. Critical thinking is not really common these days, especially with the presence of AI in everything that we do. I mean, with law, it's no longer just about, say, having AI by your side and do nothing. It's not just about memorizing rules. It's now about more about problem solving, adaptability, and knowing how to work with tech. And in many ways, that's a skill set, I believe, that applies far beyond the legal field. I mean, in any
Yes,
industry.
everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have this skill.
So, do you see AI literacy becoming just as important as legal literacy, Lena, for the next gen of lawyers?
Yes. Yes, because you have to know how to use the tool.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know how to prompt, you have to know how to you need to know the law, obviously, because the law will frame the question. Your knowledge of the law will frame the question you're going to ask my AI law, for example. But then you also have to know how to use the tool. You have to be aware of what the tool can do, what it cannot do, what is the best way to ask a question, what questions won't work. You need to know the constraints around an AI tool, that even despite the fact that we have put in all these constraints, we cannot guarantee that there will be no hallucinations. Sometimes the model might just ignore all the constraints that we have put around it, and it may just go off and hallucinate anyway. I can't, and that was what was taking me a few weeks to solve because I had put in constraints into the model to basically tell it if you don't know the answer, just say you don't know the answer, but don't answer. But it was ignoring all the constraints that I had placed in the system, and it was continuing to answer questions it had no idea what the answer was to. And it started first with legislation research, and then it went on to case research where the beta testers were asking it questions that there was no information in the database to allow it to answer. And so instead of just doing what it had been told to do, was that if you don't know, just say you don't know. It went off and it hallucinated these answers and made up all these authorities and just behaved like ChatGPT. But so it took me a while to solve that. And I put in constraints now that appear to work, but I cannot guarantee that those constraints will always work because,
Mhm.
it's nature versus nurture.
Yeah. It's
And its
how the
nature,
uh-huh.
yeah, its nature is to always answer. I mean, that's how the language model has been trained.
Hmm. And my AI doesn't answer just for the sake of answering. It has to be
Yes,
relevant.
well, it's been told. It's been
Mm-hmm.
told not to, but I can't guarantee that it will always behave. So you have to know
Could,
that. Everyone has to
it
know
could be
that.
stubborn.
Yes,
And
sometimes it's very stubborn and you can't use nurture. Nurture cannot overcome nature because its nature is to be a responsive language model.
oh, I love your accent. It's how the way of learning evolves nowadays. It's almost like knowing how to read and write, but in a new professional language. I mean, if you can't speak AI, you might miss half the opportunities or maybe more that your peers are capitalizing on, right? And
Yes.
how might how might a lawyer's role evolve when tools like yours, my AI law, handle much of the research heavy lifting, Lena?
I don't think it's evolving. You still have to do all the same things. You might do the first layer of
Uh-huh.
unearthing the relevant cases may be done faster, but then after that, all the same work still has to be done.
Uh-huh.
Might just accelerate the output, but the same steps that the lawyer has to go through to prepare an advice, to prepare a pleading, to prepare, all of it still has to be done. AI might help just accelerate the grunt work a
Mm-hmm.
lot. It will
Moving
accelerate the grunt work a lot, move it along to the
on.
point where the lawyer can then start to really value add and determine the strategy and etc. and do all the documentation. It's
Mm-hmm.
just accelerating or reducing the amount of grunt work, but you still have to check
Mm-hmm.
all your answers. So you still have to do the research. Research may not so much be about unearthing that needle in the haystack because we do that for you, but you still have to read all the cases and check everything is right and make sure everything hangs together and not just rely upon the report because that is a superficial, even though we do all the reasoning and everything, we've
Mhm.
looked at so many cases, it's still a superficial analysis because in order to really, really understand how it all works together, you have to go into the cases to give yourself a deeper knowledge, not just a
Mhm.
superficial knowledge.
Yeah.
Because the deep knowledge is held by MiAI, it's not held by the lawyer. So they have to do what it takes to get that deep knowledge themselves. And you can only have that deep knowledge yourselves if right from the time you were at law school, you did
Mhm.
the work and read the cases and really understand how law works from first principles.
Mhm. Lawyers moving up the value chain instead of drowning in case citations. They'll have
Yeah.
more space to actually advise, strategize, and advocate. And I think this could be a little ironic, Lena, but it makes the job sound, dare I say, more human, right?
More human. Yeah,
More
well,
human.
I mean, there are tools out there that automate due diligence and etc.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's actually great because in a large law firm, some of the junior lawyers spend their first few years drowning in documentation and due diligence and discovery, etc., which is very mind-numbing and soul-destroying. So if there are tools that help reduce the burden of that work, then that has to be embraced as being a great thing for the profession
Mm-hmm.
to allow them to get to what law actually is about.
Yeah. So, do you think AI could actually bring creativity back into law since lawyers would have more mental space to strategize? I mean, our brain could only take too much, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. So that like when Danny Feller SC said that when he used MiAI Law, it unearthed an argument for him that he hadn't thought of, then he can go with that and develop that argument himself. It only gives him the idea. It's not going to develop the whole
Mm-hmm.
argument for you. But by unearthing, different trains or different principles and different reasoning patterns, then once we do that for you, the lawyer can then take it and run with it and then become more creative. Yes, I do think that because all kinds of buried principles and issue principles that may have not have been used for a long time
Mm-hmm.
can be easily unearthed by MiAI Law, and then the creative lawyer can
Mm-hmm.
run with it. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Mm-hmm. Which is refreshing. Most people think of law as, rigid and structured, but freeing up lawyers from the grunt work could actually let their creative side shine. Tech is giving back time for imagination. And
Mhm.
yeah, and before I let you go back to your grind, if you could design the ultimate future lawyer's toolkit, Lena, what essentials, both human and technological, would be inside it?
Well, I would have a great legal research tool, and then we discuss cases, legislation, contract reviews, etc. But I would also have all the other automated tools that would allow you to do discovery more effectively, that would
Okay.
allow you to do due diligence more effectively, that would allow you to prepare drafts of documents more easily, but all
Mhm.
based upon first principles, so
Mhm.
that you can use our research and then use that to help you prepare correspondence,
Mhm.
draft pleadings, etc. We don't offer that feature, not yet anyway. And
Soon.
prepare, I don't know, all this takes a lot of time. And chronologies, that you can use AI to help you summarize documents properly and prepare chronologies. But preparing chronologies is not actually that simple because you actually have to know what the case is about, what the principles are in order to work out what the material facts are. And then from understanding what the material facts are in any single case, then you use that to determine what in the documents are relevant to help you prove these points. So it's not so simple as to just going in there and saying to an AI, here are all the documents, prepare me a chronology, because it could include all kinds of information that's just not relevant to the case.
Mhm.
So it'd
Right.
be just really nice to have a whole system in place where you have all of the elements throughout the whole life cycle of your work as a lawyer.
Mhm. Like an ecosystem holistically intertwined. that makes your work easier and smarter.
It makes it
And
easier, but it doesn't mean it replaces you because you still
yeah.
have to think.
Mhm. Brilliant. And I hope our listeners really heard what you've been emphasizing, Lena, all throughout. I mean, all the episodes that we've recorded. It's not about replacing the human lawyer with tech, but about blending the human skills of, I mean, including empathy, reasoning, and advocacy with the precision and efficiency of AI tools. And that's a toolkit I think every profession could borrow from. I mean, even in the medical field, even students. So, what an
So it
eye-opening.
applies across the board. But what
Mm.
I don't like, you know what I really don't like, is in the
Mhm.
emails, when the Gen AI tries to summarize my emails for me, I find that really irritating. Do you have
I
that
don't,
when you go
no, I
to
don't
mail?
use that feature.
I don't like it. It just is there and I just want to turn it off. I always don't look at it because I just go, I don't like the fact that you think that this is what you think the email significance is. And then that I just find that a bit maybe dangerous because you could overlook.
Yeah, me, I don't use that feature because I really want to see what the message is, and I don't want to miss any information.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't like that too. And this
I
is
like
such
it.
an eye-opening conversation, Lena, thinking about the lawyer of tomorrow, not as someone displaced by AI. I mean, I hope we're clear about that, but as someone empowered by it. So thank you for letting us see this imaginary picture. The real future toolkit is a partnership, human
Well,
judgment.
you know, but
Yeah, go ahead.
solicitors, on top of what I would like,
Mhm.
solicitors have also said, oh, they want, someone AI to help them organize their emails and then to help them with their timesheets and their billing, etc.
Okay.
But that's definitely a job for somebody else. There's no way I'm going to be tackling those
You're
kinds of
doing much more
issues. I'm not
complicated.
interested in those issues, but there are
Yeah.
people very interested in those issues and solving those problems. But yeah, so you have a system that just makes the grunt work more palatable.
But of course, combined with human judgment, creativity, I mean, critical
Mhm.
thinking, please. And of
Yeah.
course, ethics paired with AI precision and speed. Thank you so much. And for our next episode, maybe we could have someone join you once again. Maybe one of those beta testers of yours. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you
Okay.
so
Okay.
You just say okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Lena. See you again. So if
Thank
you'd like
you.
to, thank you. So if you'd like to explore how MyAI Law is building these tools, check them out at myai.law. That's miai.law. And as always, thank you for tuning in to X-Rays. Lena and I will be back for sure with more thought-provoking conversations. This has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with X-Rays.